Edge of Memories surprised me. After playing Edge of Eternity, I honestly expected Midgar Studio to play it safe with a sequel. Instead, they completely changed their art style, redesigned the combat, and told a much more personal story. After spending 1.5 hours with the demo, I think they might have something special. But there are also several issues that could stop this game from reaching its full potential. So today, let's find out whether Edge of Memories is actually worth your time. Edge of Memories is an RPG developed by Midgar Studio, the same small studio behind the Edge of Eternity. I previously played and covered Edge of Eternity on this channel, so I was curious to see how the developers would evolve their next project. In this game, you play as Eileen, a soul whisperer who travels across the world helping people burdened by regret, trauma, and painful memories. You awaken on a quiet beach where you meet a mysterious man named Eusaurus, who seems to know far more about you than you know about yourself. If you're wondering why his limbs are mechanical, the answer lies within something fans of Edge of Eternity will immediately recognize: the corrosion. Once someone succumbs to it, they slowly lose their humanity before eventually transforming into a monster. It doesn't stop at living creatures either. The corrosion spreads throughout the environment itself, twisting forests, villages, and landscapes into a terrifying nightmare. And this is where Eileen is different. In addition to working as a soul whisperer, she possesses the rare ability to manipulate the corrosion. However, using that power comes with a heavy price. She gradually sacrifices her own memory. It's a simple concept, but one that immediately grabbed my attention. Every time Eileen fights, I couldn't help but wonder how much of herself she would lose to save someone else. Compared to Edge of Eternity, this story feels much more personal and character driven. The next thing that surprised me was the visual direction. Midgar Studio completely shifted away from the realistic graphics of Edge of Eternity and embraced a vibrant, cel-shaded, anime-inspired art style. At first, I wasn't sure how I felt the change, but the more I explored, the more it grew on me. The environments are colorful without feeling overwhelming. The lighting creates a warm atmosphere, and even small details like the water effects help bring the world to life. More importantly, the new art direction gives Edge of Memories its own identity, and it is nice that Midgar Studio tries something different to their games. Exploration was another pleasant surprise. The game was fairly linear. There are branching paths, hidden treasures, shortcuts, and optional areas waiting to be explored. You can unlock shortcuts by punching giant rocks like Chris Redfield, while certain routes require specific companions to help you progress. For example, Eusaurus can burn away thick vines to reveal hidden passages, encouraging players to revisit previous areas after unlocking new comrades. Treasure hunting also feels rewarding. Passive abilities and equipment are hidden inside chests rather than simply handing out crafting materials, making exploration consistently worthwhile. It constantly rewards curiosity, which is something I always appreciate in RPGs. Every passive skill and armor piece comes with its own strengths and weaknesses, allowing you to tailor your build around your preferred playstyle. Some equipment sacrifices defensive stats in exchange for powerful bonuses when certain conditions are met, giving players another layer of build experimentation. Crafting is fairly straightforward. Throughout your adventure, you will gather two different types of plants. Herbs are used to brew potions with different effects, while berries provide immediate healing during exploration. One thing I found interesting is that you can only craft potions and manage your loadout while resting at campfires. Since you're limited to carry only 5 potions at a time, preparing before venturing into dangerous areas becomes part of the strategy instead of something you can constantly adjust. Combat is where Edge of Memories really begins to shine. Unlike Edge of Eternity, this game fully embraces fast-paced hack-and-slash combat. Enemies rarely stagger, so you're constantly balancing offense and defense instead of relying on blocking. Survival revolves around mastering perfect dodges while carefully positioning yourself between attacks. Heavy attacks aren't simply stronger. They're designed to defeat enemies that have high defenses against light attacks. Any follow-up attacks after your first heavy attacks will be counted as heavy attacks. The game gives you plenty of freedom to develop your own rhythm rather than forcing a single attack pattern. As you level up, you will unlock new abilities through the skill tree, allowing you to launch your enemies in the air, crowd control, or more aggressive combo routes. Every battle requires certain combo that will give you an edge. Eileen's corrosion mechanic adds another satisfying layer to combat. By landing attacks and performing perfect dodges, you will build rage. Once the gauge is full, Eileen embraces the corrosion itself, transforming her attacks into devastating claw strikes capable of tearing through enemies. When an enemy's health falls low enough, you can finish them off with a stylish execution that brings battles to a satisfying conclusion. Now, let us delve into the issues that I have with this game. First, there are no minimaps. Yes, I mentioned the map is linear and has few branches along the way, you need to remember where you went and know where to go to progress the story. This will be a hassle for those who are directionally challenged. During the somewhat cutscenes or dialogues, the 3D ones at least, the characters only shows emotions but not much mouth movement to align with their voices. I know this is a demo, but I wasn't quite sure whether there will be a mouth movements in the final product. Hopefully they do, as it can be viewed as lazy for the developer side. For the combat, I noticed is that Elaine doesn't move very far forward during many of her attacks animations. There were several occasions where I started a combo only to watch my attacks swing harmlessly through the air because the enemy had stepped back slightly. You have to stop your attacks to move around easily or by dodging to reposition. The normal enemies do not get staggered easily. It makes it feel like your attacks doesn't affect them even when you are dealing damages to them. This will make it hard to achieve your combos that you want to land upon them, forcing us to really time our attacks to fully capitalize. As for aerial combat, after launching the enemies, there isn't much room to react and make follow-up attacks. So you really need to prepare and ready yourself to commit if you are going for that combo. I also hope the developers introduce a dynamic weather system in the full release. Exploring the same area under the different weather conditions could add more variety to both the exploration and combat encounters. For example, like during summer, the enemies will be normal, but during winter, they were adapted to become ice type. Or even a day or night time when you rest at the campfire so that you can fight other types of enemies that are available only at night time. As for quests, the demo currently only offers one side quest, where you hunt down a giant crab outside the village. It's a simple introduction to the quest system and appears to be one of the main ways to earn additional money outside of exploration. Without the map, you really need to keep your eyes peeled for any quest to earn this money. Since this is only a demo, I'm interested to see how much of a variety the full game will offer. When it comes to potions, I think it would be great to have an inventory where you can swap different potions during exploration and combat instead of changing them at the campfire. Overall, Edge of Memories left a slightly positive first impression on me. Midgar Studio took a considerable risk by moving away from the formula established in Edge of Eternity. I think there are elements that can be improved. The story feels more personal, exploration consistently rewards curiosity, and the combat has some depth but needs some oomph to make them satisfying. Of course, there are still rough edges to polish, and I would love to see more environmental variety and dynamic weathers in the final release. So who is this game for? If you enjoy action RPGs that reward exploration, character-driven stories, and experimenting with different combat builds, I think Edge of Memories is worth keeping on your radar. However, if you're looking for constant action, fully open world, or combat with the weight of responsiveness of games like Devil May Cry or Stellar Blade, you may find this demo a little rough around the edges. Likewise, if you were hoping for Edge of Eternity 2 with the same gameplay style, this isn't that game. I hope this review helps you decide whether Edge of Memories deserves a place on your wishlist. If I missed anything, please do let me know in the comments below. I would like to hear what caught your attention for the most from the demo, and is this game worth your time? As always, happy gaming, adventurers.